Hi, my name is Emily, and this is the WestKnits podcast, episode 19. Today is Sunday, October 2nd of 2022, and this is my podcast where I like to talk about all that I have been knitting on for these last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. Not that consistent, but this is also the episode after shopping at DFW Fiberfest last weekend, so this may be a long one. So I usually like to talk about all that I have been knitting, so my finished objects, which I've actually got a few, and then I've got one whip because I finished off a few things, and then lots of acquisitions this time, which I usually don't have any. So I will have everything linked in the description box below, and I guess let's just get started. So my first finished object, which has been something on the needles for a bit, is my Souffle tee. This is the Souffle tee by Laura of Penrose Knits. I think this is the original one. I did make a few modifications, but this fits great. My sister actually wore it to DFW last weekend, and I might put it on here in a minute. But I knit this holding 2 yarns together of Surrey alpaca, and I actually have my leftovers. Just this little bit left over. So I had 2 skeins of the blue and 2 skeins of the blue-green variegated. And this is all that I have left over after knitting that tee. So I held these 2 together all throughout the project. Because I held 2 different yarns together, I know I've talked about this before, but the original one has a shear where you only hold 1 strand, but that would have made mine like all green or all blue and funky. And same thing for the ruffle, you're supposed to only hold 1. But I just did a solid color all the way through. I think it looks great. On the bottom, there is a fold over hem, which you can kind of see, and it flares out because of the way I blocked it. But it's a fold over hem. That was a pain in the rear to do in Surrey held double. Like, just pain in the rear. So instead of doing the fold over hem on the sleeves, I did an I-cord bind off. And I think it looks great on the sleeves. And then it's got a keyhole back here. See? Little I-cord thing. And I bought this button at Knit Unto Others on the Arkansas yarn crawl in like June or July. I think it was July. But I did dye the yarn of this myself, if you haven't been here before and heard me say that. So I greatly enjoyed it. My sister wore it very well at DFW, and everybody stopped and said, "I love your sweater," talking to her. Which I was super proud of because I love this. I was happy for her to be able to wear it. I wore my Sora top that I don't know if I ever showed off on here, but it's not my favorite thing to wear because it's a little more see-through and it's a tank top and it's kind of short and not as long. But I wore that with my what is it? It's a cardigan. I knit it before I podcasted as well. My Simple Hug cardi. And so I did post a picture on Instagram of me and my sister afterwards, and I might pop one up here of the 2 of us in what we wore to DFW. So let me step out of frame and put this on so you can see how it fits. So this is, the neckline came in really great after adding the I-cord edge. There was one episode, maybe 2 episodes ago, that I was holding it up where I would actually put it on and it felt really wide. But the I-cord edge edging brought it in. I did block it flat so the sleeves kind of puff out, but I will steam that out at some point. But this fits great. Pardon my shorts. So this fits great. I love it. It'll go great. I may actually wear it to work tomorrow. So yeah, and I am wearing knit socks because it is a little cool out. These are knit out of a sock blank I got from Arkansas Yarn Co. last year's yarn crawl. So hopefully okay, so that is my souffle tee, and I finished that a couple weeks ago, and I love it. Turned out great. Excited to be able to wear it, and it's finally coolish enough, especially in the mornings, it's cool enough for me to wear my hand knits. Okay, so you'll see my chickens, and we actually have one of our 2 cats right here. This is Jerry. Jerry's a girl. And then we got a Tom, so he's a boy, brother. But yeah, we got 2 outdoor cats, and this is one of them. They're pretty sweet. So my next finished object will go with, y'all never saw this on the podcast, and before DFW, I went through all of my yarn stash and was kind of like, okay, what do I have, to kind of evaluate what I had and what I want to knit with what I've got and what I want to purchase for and that kind of a thing. I know I talked about plans for DFW last time, and this wasn't really included, but I've been thinking about making my daughter a sweater, and she is 3, and she's 3, but she's a fairly big 3-year-old. So I knit the Flax Light in the 4 to 6-year-old, and that can probably fit me. 4 to 6-year-old, I knit this using the Mace of Skeins Ocean Fade, is what I call it. But the middle color kind of in here is where it's by itself, is Ocean, and then she also dyed me up the lighter and a darker, which is the hem here. So I had these leftovers from my Plumpy, and I whipped this up in less than 2 weeks. It was great. I did not do the garter panel. I just did stocking knit all the way through. Other than that, it's knit to pattern. It fits her pretty well. It may be a little big, but that's perfectly fine. She'll be able to wear it this year, maybe next. I also did a color that my son will be able to wear as well, because I don't want to spend all this time and money on hand-dyed yarn knitting something for my daughter that my son can't wear. It's great. I love it. The day I finished it in the car, I held it up to my daughter, and she's like, no, don't hit my tripod. I held it up for my daughter, and she was like, Mama, it's too big. I was like, she's not gonna wear it, oh no. But she ended up putting it on that night, and that was before I blocked it, and it fit her well, and she loved it till she washed her hands and got the sleeves wet. So then I was like, yeah, I need to block it now. So cat's getting into all my yarn here. But yep, so that is the toddler faded Flax Light is what I called it. So it is fingering weight, knit to pattern to the Flax Light, which is a free pattern from Tin Can Knits. And this is all Mace of Skeins yarn, who you will see more of this episode. Quit touching my tripod. It's the bad thing about podcasting outside with animals that free range. So, a couple more finished objects. I don't think y'all have seen these either. Part of going through my stash again, I was like, okay, these will be perfect for socks. I finished a pair of socks out of leftovers. So this isn't, both of these are yarns I dyed as well. They're 75-25. I don't remember the base that Mace of Skeins was. I think it was 75-25, but I don't know what she calls it. These cats, this cat. Quit, you're gonna spill my water. Stay right here. Okay, so these, I knit last Christmas a pair of socks for my sister, and I called them primarily black because when I dyed them, I did speckles of blue, red, and yellow, and then kind of poured black over it. So primarily colors with black. And so I knit, and then the gray is left over from my Winter Lights shawl. And so all the distractions, gosh dang, it's not kids, it's animals. I knit these, I knit these cuff down 64 stitches on a US 02 millimeter 9-inch circular needle. I knit these at the same time, but not on the same needle because you can't do two at a 9-inch circ. So I knit the cuffs, and then I used one pulling from the inside, and then I used one pulling from the outside. And I did like 20 rows, 20 rows, 10 rows, 10 rows. Basically, I knit them evenly all the way down. And this is a afterthought heel, and so I knit them evenly all the way down to they are matching, and I used up every bit of yarn. Like, I literally had them this close, and I finished the round, and then I snipped the yarn and woven the ends. Like, no leftovers whatsoever from this primarily black, the main skein. I do have some leftovers of this, which is fine. So 2x2 cuff, 64 stitches. I think I ended up, I don't know why I'm here. I think I ended up in like 120-ish rows, which is similar to what I do. I went 70 rows from the toe. There's a bug or something. Yep, there it is. Okay. There's a bee hanging on right here. Jerry, you're gonna knock over my water and you're making everything bad. This cat. So from the start of the toe, I did 70 rows and then cut in my heel, and that measures out just fine, fits. I increase every other round down to 20 per needle, so 40 total, and then every round I decrease until I have 10, and then I Kitchener the toe. So that is that pair. I think that's all. They look great. Happy to have another pair of socks. I hadn't knit a pair of socks in a little bit. This cat is gonna drive me nutty. I think y'all have heard more about the cat than my knitting. And there she goes again. Go! Okay, more finished objects. Although these don't have ends woven in. I finished I think it were 3 dishcloths. I'm not sure where I was at with these last time. But I've been knitting the half and half dishcloth pattern by Purl Soho. This one I ran out of the blue and just started with my next color. This one is, have not woven in my ends. I'll do that later. These are all just leftovers of other ones that I've knit before. So yeah, this one I ran out right here, and I changed colors on the wrong side, so sorry if the tripod is. Go find that chicken that's balking, or go find your brother. So 3 dishcloths done and still need to be woven in. They are different sizes. I think I'm gonna make these for the ladies at my work office for Christmas this year. And some of them, I like the small. Some people like the big. Most of them, I think, will like the big. So I will just keep, quit. You about to get thrown in the backyard with the dogs. I think most of them like the big, so I'll just keep knitting the big size. I'm hoping to use up my stash for that. So that is those. And then I also have a swatch from my brioche class that I took at DFW. I took the textural brioche class with Leslie Ann Robinson, who's also known as Knit Graffiti. This is the swatch we did for that. We started with 1 color moss stitch, then went to 2 color, and then I don't remember what the middle one's called. Purl brioche maybe? And then 2 color moss brioche, and then 3 color moss brioche. And I knit these all with leftovers from my WestKnits Mystery Cowl, the shawlography from last year. which I've done a lot with those leftovers. And I probably will still have, I still have some. So you will probably see it again. It's super soft. Love it. So I love brioche. So we'll see if hopefully I can have some more, or cast on something with brioche in the near future. Actually, I don't think in the near future. I've got plans for that, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So let's talk about the one whip I've got, and then we'll talk about all the acquisitions. So my one whip is my long summer cardigan by Hoagie Locatelli, and I'm holding this. We're gonna try and remember to talk about my bags. I usually don't because they're the same bags, but this is my By the Bay Bag Co. This is Kay's Crochet Creations, who I got some of my Progress Keepers from, but I think this is her box. She doesn't make this style anymore, which I heard from her this last weekend at DFW. But I am knitting the Long Summer Cardigan by Hoagie Locatelli. I am using Ruby and Roses yarn. This is my main color. This is my contrast color, Golden Hour and Twilight, on her Soft Rose 8515 base, and I love it. It's so soft. So I have 4 of these and 2 of these. I don't know if I'm gonna break into this one. I don't know if I'm gonna break into a third one. Well, I didn't want to wind up all the yarn because it is a lot that I got for it, because it was paid in sample yarn, which is fantastic. Or sample yarn, you know what I mean. I knit a sample for Addie, and she paid me with this yarn. So this is where I'm at so far, and of course I'm in the middle of a freaking row. Kids, man, I was knitting on this morning, and yeah. So last time I talked to last time you saw this, I was just working on the back, and I think I was in the middle of the twisted rib. So since then I've finished the back section. You cast on the fronts and go down, and you obviously have shaping and stuff, and then you join it. And so I've joined it, and now I'm in the round. I still have one more increase to do, but if I was not in the middle of a row, I could probably try it on for you, which I may while I'm talking. I can go ahead. But this is gonna go on the back burner because I've got projects coming up, but I'm hoping I can get a lot of progress this week on it. But after that, it won't get that much work done. This is a long cardigan, like past the butt. I think the picture has it down to her knees in for the original, and so I don't know how long I'm actually gonna do it. I don't know if I'm gonna go that long, but I do want it like past my butt, maybe not to my knees, but I am shorter too. I'm only 5'2". Gosh, I'm rambling. So we can talk about what I'm going to knit on while I get to the end of this row in the next few weeks. So today is October 2nd. Thursday is October 6th. And that is the start where you get the first clue of the WestKnits MKAL for 2022, which is Twists and Turns. I did purchase a kit at DFW Fiber Fest, and I will show that to you. So I plan on casting that on Thursday or Friday morning. I don't remember like what time, because he's in Amsterdam. I don't know what time he releases and we get it, that type of thing. But I will cast on as soon as that's possible, because maybe on my lunch break at work, maybe on the way home, I'll print it out, we'll see. But today, after I show you the yarn, I will have a winding party pretty much and wind up those. And I think I want to wind up one more. I can't decide. But also have another project that needs to get on the needles soon. I do not have the yarn yet for it. Addie of Ruby and Rosa's yarn, whose yarn this is, has reached out for me. I've done, 4 sample knits for her, which I think I've shown you most, if not all of them. This cat is eating my yarn. That's why cats don't go inside. But I knit her like a cloud cardigan, 2 samples of her shawl that she designed, the Fascination shawl, and then I just recently finished knitting some swatches for her newest letter writer collection, which is great. You need to go check it out. And so she has reached out to me and asked me to knit her wedding shawl for her. And I've got low battery. So she's reached out to me to knit her wedding shawl for her, which she wants me to knit the Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry, which is a sweater pattern I already own, or shawl pattern I already own, and I was planning on knitting my the Fiber Fox Advent with, which I still plan on it. So hopefully she will get that yarn out to me this week and I can knit that for her. She's getting married on New Year's Eve, so that'll give me plenty of time. I don't have to super rush, and I think I can get that done along with the WestKnits MKAL as well, depending on how much time my kids allow me to knit. Almost done. So, we're just gonna knit this real quick. Under pressure, can't do it. And done. So here is the sweater. So it's a good thing about it being that. And I will come back and pick up for a collar as well. And it'll block out. I think this is gonna work so far. Oh yeah, because I think the sleeves are definitely more fitted. So it's weird. It feels like it's coming up because of the cord in the back. But I think that'll look great. And you can see they're shaping where it's coming inside. I think I've only got one more increase. I think it looks great. Yeah. Also my shirt, if I'm sitting, I'm knitting. Okay, can I get it off? So that is my only current whip. I've got some dishcloths that I might start for like my pumping sessions at work, because I don't know if I want to take this into work. It's quite a bit. So acquisitions from DFW. Let's see. Actually, before DFW, I've got, golly, cat. Before DFW Fiberfest, the day before, I went to Michael's while we were in the Dallas area, and I was getting some yarn for my in-law. I've got 2 in-laws that are expecting, and I set the tone 5 years ago of knitting blankets for every niece and nephew. So I have to get started on those blankets. One of them is due in December. Oh, there went my water. And one of them is due in March. So this is for the first one. And I've been knitting the half and half dishcloth. I mean, you got the, by Purl Soho, it's the half and half dishcloth. You've got the half and half wrap. They're all like the square with the one half triangle, one half triangle. And so I've been knitting those, practicing for this specific reason. I still need to practice the striping that I want to do. But I went to Michael's and bought some yarn, some acrylic, so it can go in the washer and the dryer and not be ruined. And I bought this Lion Brand Heartland. Oh, let me read this here. It's it is premium acrylic, Yeah, I mean, all acrylic. It is a medium weight, but I plan on just using the needle size recommended on here, which I think is a 5.5 millimeter US 9. But I will, I've got 3 of these and 1 of these. So my plan for half of the triangle is to stripe these 2 and then knit one of just this. So this is super soft yarn, and I'm excited to get this started. I think it'll fly off. It's like worsted weight. It'll be fine. I don't do a lot of worsted weight at all. So I will get these off, or get this started at some point. I was thinking about during the WestKnits to have, or after the WestKnits, but I've got the shawl for Addie that I'm gonna do now, so it'll get done. Golly, all the chickens are here. Nope, we're missing one. So this is one acquisition, the start of from DFW, and that'll get started at some point. Me going from like super whips or 1 to 2 whips to might have like 4 or 5 the next time. Kitty cat, stop it. Okay. Let me rearrange all this so the cat doesn't eat my sweaters and my finished objects here, and I can get to my other stuff easy. The thing about going outside is I've got all this, and then I've got the bags. Okay. So you've got my cup with my Always Yarn First from Lindsay, who I saw at DFW. Knit Unto Others, which is my local yarn store, and Mace of Skeins, and then these 2 are from Kay's Crochet Creations. So DFW was fun. So Friday, me and my sister went to the marketplace. I told her my plans. I had my yarn budget in cash, so I wouldn't overspend. I told her which projects I wanted to buy for and showed her pictures. I said, don't let me buy more than this. Which I actually did. And then I told her, we walked in and I said, we need to walk around first. I can't just, this is a lot. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. So we started making a lap, and I saw By the Bay Bag Co. Gosh, I can't remember her name, but it was her and her husband there. And she had a little basket of $10 to $15 bags that were like her sale bags, her misfits, and that kind of stuff. So I immediately stopped there because her bags are great. I mean, you saw my first bag, and I usually have one of her, I think it's the El Grande is the size they call it for my sweater bag. I don't have it out here right now because I'm going to put my WestKnits MKAL in it. Also, this bag is my Arkansas Yarn Co. bag, and it's now got all my FOs in it, but it has the baby blanket yarn in it as well. I just told you I was going to show you the bags, and I didn't, but that was it. So I stopped and fished through the sale bin, and I found this. So this is her small sock size bag, and I got this for $10. I mean, that is a steal. I don't know the original prices. I don't know the original prices of them, but she said that the only thing wrong with this is it's an old tag. These are the tags I have from the bags I got from Christmas last year. It is the perfect sock bag. I used it for the finished object socks you saw. Love it. And I knew I wanted to buy a bag from her. I was planning on getting a bigger bag, but I only have 1 to 2 big projects going on, and I've already got 2 of her bags. So this is perfect. In here I have all the stitch markers I bought, or my sister bought, or the freebies. So when you sign up for a class, you get a bag full of freebies, and I'll show you that bag in a minute, or I guess I can show you now. But I got this little stitch marker row counter in here, and I think this came from Diamonds and Daisies. So it was a freebie part of being in the class, as well as tape measure from Tiny Tyrant Designs. Can't have too many of those. And then these are my acquisitions from somebody else. So this is the big old bag that came with the class, and I think you could buy it as well in the with red instead of green. But this is perfect to carry around the marketplace. So stitch markers. Me and my sister, she said she wanted to buy me some stitch markers for my birthday, which was this past Thursday, the 29th. And she bought me from the Sexy Knitter this bracelet, and I just love these. She had so many cute little sets and stuff, but I like the bracelets. I'm not a big themed person. She had so many fall themes and some Christmas themes. My sister got herself some Oreo stitch markers. She had so many Starbucks stitch markers, some coffee. Well, Starbucks and coffee, same thing. Some Chick-fil-A stitch markers. They were just so cute. But this is what I picked out. And so you can wear it as a bracelet, and then you've got all the stitch markers. I'm not much of a jewelry person, but I loved these markers. She also had a thing where you could get a little bag like this and then 10 stitch markers from her, like, I don't know if it was just misfits or she had like too many to not make a set, extras type thing. And so Megan kept some of them, my sister, but I got the bag. Megan wasn't a fan of it, but I picked it out and it's super cute. Then I got this stitch marker. So these are all the little misfit ones that I got. So I got this little plaid ball. I got this mushroom. I got this heart. And then the last one I got from the Sexy Knitter was this little succulent plant. So those all came from the Sexy Knitter. There were a couple booths just handing out like business cards and little freebies. So I got 2 of these because one of them was for my sister, from I think Vicky's Knits or Vic's Knits, something like that. But it is just a little ball with a ring. I use these for my socks and they were great. Loved them. And then from Wonderluck Fibers, I actually have some yarn too, but he had stitch markers, or it was him who I actually purchased it from, but I don't know who the dyer is. I don't know if she was there when I went through their booth, but I got that little, and that one's a progress keeper with the earring back. So I got that one as well. So those have been living in here for right now, unless I use them. So purchase number 1. And then I went to Mace Skeins. I feel like I'm all over the place with this, and I apologize. And I told you that I was going to buy or search for the WestKnits MKAL. Here comes the second cat. So I was going to purchase yarn for the Twists and Turns MKAL for WestKnits. And here's cat number 2 if you're curious. This is Tommy. He's got a bobtail. Poor little kitty. He's sweet. I purchased this kit from Macy. So this is on her spade fingering 75-25. We've got sand. Let me just take them out. Crinkle, crinkle. Sorry. So you saw I have 2 of these each. We've got Sandcastle and Oh Fudge. And then my pop of color is Marshland. So that is going to be my twists and turns. My whole goal with this shawl was to do something neutral. And something that would go with these green pants I like to wear to work. I love these pants, but nothing. I mean, a lot of stuff that I own does not go with it, so my goal is to knit more items that'll go with these pants. Neutrals plus the pop of the green, and this is a similar green to what the pants are, so I think it'll work out and be perfect. So Macy had these kits, obviously you saw a little sticker on it, and she had these 2 colors with a bright blue. I think it's her frozen, or I don't know what it's called, but it's super bright blue. And I asked her, I was like, Macy, I love these main colors, can I switch it out? She's like, yes, go ahead, you do what you want. And so I switched it out from Marshland, and it's great. So I really appreciate that, Macy. So I bought this from Macy and loved getting to talk to her on Friday when it wasn't so busy. I mean, her booth was the best. It was, people were flocked to it. It was awesome. And so I also bought from her I also bought from Macy her show special sock set. This is the Lone Star sock set. I believe this is cowboy butts, and I don't remember what the 2 separate ones are called. If I remember to look them up, I will put them down here. Loved this so much, and I will make socks out of it. Probably 2 pairs, because I can obviously get 2 pairs out of socks. My feet are fairly small. These cats. So yes, I got the show special on her spade fingering 75-25. You got the 100 grams, and I guess these are 2 10-gram minis, because it's 20 grams for the mini skeins. I don't know, I'd have to weigh them out, but super excited to have that. Another person I was excited to see was Suburban Stitcher, and I think I talked about that in my planning last time. Loved her booth. She was posting all these new colors she was planning on taking the week before, and she posted this rosewood color. Love it. These are on her Sport Superwash Merino. And these were on sale, and I'm assuming it's because the dye broke right here, but honestly, I don't care. I got these for $20 a skein. Like, okay, that's fine with me. Do not get in my bag. So the first day I went and bought one, not realizing I got Sport. I was thinking it was fingering, I could do a hat or socks. I can get quite a bit done with it, 1 skein of fingering. So I just got it. Got home, realized it was Sport. I was like, dang, I guess I could do Sport weight socks. But decided I would go back and just gotta speed up. Decided I would go back and get some more. See if she had some more in this, even if it was on full price, like if she had more Sport in rosewood. So Saturday morning, I had my class at 9:30. Vendor hall opened at 9. I got there a little bit early before the doors opened, walked in and went straight to her booth. She had one left on the sale rack, so it's got the same Misfit stuff. Perfect. I have enough to make a outline raglan by Jessie Made. And the outline tee and tank, and I'm assuming I'm making the raglan, are the sweater for next year's 2023's Arkansas Yarn Co. Like this year we made the boxy chevrons. Last year they did a stripy something. This year it's the outline series. And so that's what I'm going to make with these. Perfect. Worked out great. 2 more vendors. I stopped at a lot, and I would have bought a lot more, but I was on a budget. Stayed under budget as well. I also bought this gorgeous skein. It is colorful tweed fingering and lilac from Wanderluck Fibers. I saw this and immediately, my daughter loves purple, and I'm going to knit a Musselburgh out of this. it's going to be gorgeous. And her head is so big, I can knit an adult small, and it'll fit me and her and anybody else that's an adult with a fairly small head. So I'm going to knit this for my daughter as a hat. So this is where I got that flower progress keeper. But love it. Got it from them. My last one's a fairly big purchase. I have been wanting to knit the Rose Cardigan by Andrea Mowry for a long time. And that one is knit in 4 different pieces. Like you start at the sleeve and you knit out and knit here, and then I guess 5 technically. You do 4 of those pieces. So 1 here, 1 here, and then the back, and then you join it in the back, and then you have a shawl collar, and I think the shawl collar's knit separately and then joined, which is gonna be a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna like all the seaming on this, but I've loved this cardigan for so long, and it's a fade and it's cables all over, and so knew I wanted to purchase yarn for this or get yarn from Diane Suburban Stitcher's Fade Club for it, sign up for it, or do her pre-orders for it, but I found yarn. So I'm only going to show 1 of each of these, but I do have 2 of each of these. I bought this from Red Stag Fiber. Here's my fade. So the pattern calls for a 4-color fade, but I'm just going to do 3 colors. Just doing 3 colors on this fade, and this one fell on the ground. This is Red Stag Fiber. I think he's out of the Houston area. Not sure exactly where. His wife owns Modern Skein, but this is a sport weight. It is a sport weight pattern. This is non-superwash Peruvian wool. I have never used non-superwash before, but I think it'll work great for this cable pattern. So I've got birch, I've got Aberdeenshire, and Edan. Not quite sure. But bug. That's those. And I will knit the Rose Cardigan by Andrea Mowry out of these, and probably will be a while until I get to it with the MKAL and samples and baby blankets and advent knitting. But there's some birch, whatever that one was, and whatever that one was. And I have 2 of each of these. So super neutral will go with pretty much everything. Will go with my green pants. But yeah, so that was all of my Fiber Fest purchases. And I believe that's it. I loved taking that class from Leslie Ann Robinson. That was great. I loved getting to spend time with my family and knowing my kids were great with my parents and my husband, and had a great time last weekend. My phone might die here in a minute, so I will talk to y'all in the next few weeks. I will try to have everything linked below. I apologize if not. Just comments if any questions. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry, and I've got an email that are all listed below. All are WestKnits. Yeah, I think that's it. So sorry for all the cat disruptions and the spacing out and the rambling. So I enjoyed getting to finally talk about all this that I've had for a week, and I finally just unpacked it all. So it was all sitting in that bag waiting for me to do this. So I will talk to y'all in the next few weeks. Thanks for sitting down with me. Bye.